What's going on, everyone? Talon here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking Kitty Pryde and putting her against GBR, so that's going to be Galactus and Master Mold to see how she does, because I did get her to level 70, and I was really excited when they first announced Kitty Pryde, but then when I saw her skills, I was a little bit disappointed, so don't expect too much from her. Just because I'm making this video does not mean that she was able to clear both Galactus and Master Mold. So yeah, I'm just making this to kind of showcase her a little bit since I did get her to level 70. So let's go ahead and take a look at her build before we go ahead and hop into the gameplay. So for her skills here, we have just this one at level 21, so I haven't done much else with that. And then we have a little bit of Ignore Defense Uru on her, just because I did need that Ignore Defense to get her closer to cap. For her skills, we have everything leveled up except for the first skill. For the ISO 8 set, we do have Overdrive at stage 6. I don't think I did. Yeah, no type enhancement has been done. And then for the Obelisk, we just have a 140 proc on her with guard break immunity and max HP. So yeah, I didn't invest too much in her, so that might be why the gameplay that you're going to see in a little bit here against Galactus and Master Mold may not look very impressive. But that's just because she didn't really impress me enough to want to give her a better Obelisk or a CTP. But yeah, I mean, it's mainly her survivability because her damage is okay, but it's really difficult with Kitty to get a damage proc to actually go off, which we will see once we get into the gameplay here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the details. So for the details, oh, we actually didn't get her to max ignore defense. I thought I did with all that ignore defense Uru. So she doesn't have any ignore defense on her skills or her gears from what I'm gathering here from this value, because normally it'd be a lot easier to max out her ignore defense. But anyway, then all the other stats are kind of just average. They're nothing too crazy, but they're not horrible. I mean, they're pretty low for some of them. But anyway, that's what Kitty's looking like here. I'll have to level up this skill to 25 to get that extra ignore defense, and that should hopefully solve the issue there for her ignore defense. But that's what she's looking like right now. And even though she is a little underbuilt right now, I could still kind of extrapolate on how she'll perform at a higher level build based on what I'm seeing from her performance here. So let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay and we'll talk a little bit more about Kitty there. Alright, so here we are at Galactus. We've got two random teammates to help us out here, one with a tier 3 Sharon and one with a tier 3 Captain Marvel, but neither of them end up doing too much here, so this is pretty much just a failed run to show how much damage Kitty might be able to do. So let's just go ahead and get this started here. We've got her own leadership, which was the 55% mutants. I've already forgotten what her leadership is, and then some crit rate. Then we have Coulson for his support, and then we have Wave for her support as well. So we're doing double support here for Kitty since she has her own self-buffing leadership. But even with that, her damage isn't very impressive here against Galactus. A lot of the reason is it's just very difficult to get her damage proc to line up reliably. She doesn't have very many hits on like any of her skills, so it's just really difficult to get that damage proc to go off. I've gone multiple skill rotations before without getting the damage proc to even go off once, or it'll go off on like the end of the skill or something like that. So her skills just don't have enough hits really to proc an obelisk very reliably. So she's probably going to be better off as a defensive character for you. I mean, she does hit pretty hard when she actually gets the damage proc off, but like I said, she just doesn't have enough hits on her skills, and it's just not consistent enough to really warrant building her with like a CTP of energy or like a CTP of destruction or anything like that, because she can't really take very good advantage of that, especially the CTP of energy, because she just doesn't have enough hits to really take advantage of that chain hit damage. And then CTP of destruction is nice on her because you get the guard break immunity, which is good because she definitely needs it because of her lack of survivability. Yeah, Kitty is really hard to keep alive, which is quite frustrating for a lot of these attempts that I was doing at World Boss Ultimate. Not so much against Galactus here. Galactus has a lot kind of slower animations than Master Mold, and it's just kind of like single hits, whereas Master Mold does like multiple hit stuff, or he like throws dot damage down on you that you might actually run into. So a lot of those things made Master Mold a lot more difficult for Kitty to square up against. But Galactus here, she had this survivability, but as you can see here, her damage is quite bad, and neither of these two guys are doing much. And they do have tier 3 characters, so either they don't have damage procs on them, or maybe they're just newer players to the game, and they're just kind of built up their first tier 3 and they're trying them out here. But either way, Kitty is not going to be able to kind of pull this out on her own. She is definitely going to time out here, but we can get an idea of what kind of damage she is doing. So I think I cut ahead a little bit here, or I cut towards the end in a minute. But either way, I mean, Kitty is still a fun character to play as. I do still like her kind of skill animations. I just wish that they were like full iframes for the most part, because her 5th skill is a full iframe, but her 4th skill has intermittent iframes. Her 2nd skill has intermittent iframes. Her 3rd skill is a long delay to get into her iframe. As you can see, both my teammates are dead now, so it's just kind of Kitty here trying to do a little bit more damage so I can see what she might be capable of in the full 10-minute period. But look at that, the damage proc is just nowhere to be found. Oh, there it is at the last like 2 hits of the 5th skill. Fantastic, that's really going to be helpful. She did dodge that, but it's really hard to keep her. There we go. That was like halfway through the skill. But yeah, her biggest downfall is just the damage proc. I mean, her survivability, you can play around that if you kind of get used to her play style, or what skills have the gaps in iframes and where, so what you can kind of expect to you know, to deal with, and how long her skill animations are and that kind of stuff. So it's possible to play around that kind of stuff, but the fact that you can't reliably get any kind of procs going on just really hurts her value here. So as you can see, we did about a 9 million damage here, and that was like, was at 5.5 minutes, 9 million damage. So we're going to be lucky if she could do like 16 million damage in the 10 minutes. So yeah, she's just not a good option for Galactus. And now we're going to load into Master Mold here and see if she can do better against Master Mold, because Master Mold is a lot easier to fight than Galactus. He's a lot, you know, you can do a lot more damage against him. So we're going to use her own leadership again. We've got Shuri for her tier 2 passive, and then we have Wasp in here as well, so we don't have to deal with all of the fun and interactive mind control and dot damage effects to give Kitty a little more chance at surviving here, because if she walks into that kind of ice on the ground or anything like that even once, she is going to yeah, she's gonna be dead. And for Master Mold here, I mean, I think I did this fight like 6 or 7 times just trying to get a good enough clear, because she just kept dying over and over again. At least against Galactus, that was the kind of first attempt that I had against Galactus, and I was like, that's good enough to show her damage. It's just too difficult to get people to stay in the lobby with me and actually let me start the lobby, because they're like, who's this guy using Kitty? Kitty can't do anything, so they just kept leaving, so it was hard enough to get the actual 2 teammates just to start the fight. So that's why I figured that's good enough. But I was able to get that at the first go. For Master Mold here, I spent like 2 hours with people going in and out, just trying to get people to join. And then I died like in the first like 2 minutes of the fight, like multiple times with Kitty. She just kept getting clapped so easily by Master Mold here. She just gets like one-shotted, and then the gaps in her iframe, she doesn't really have any kind of real safety net to fall back on. So I kept like, during my 4th skill was a lot of the time that I was actually getting killed. When I was using the 4th skill, I'd just get slapped right out of it, or I'd get run into something that was on the ground while doing the 4th skill animation and that kind of stuff. So yeah, just a lot of problems with her kind of kit in terms of making her a viable option for GBR, or a viable option in that case for a World Boss Ultimate as well, because she can hit pretty hard there, but again, the survivability is what she's lacking. So maybe if she gets a uniform in the future, she'll be a lot better, because she's already got decent enough damage. Just need to augment that a little bit, but really buff up her survivability. So overall, Kitty, I mean, she's a fun character and all, but I wouldn't really get a subscription just to get her. I don't think she's worth buying for real money. So yeah, if you could farm her, then that would be one thing, but as a paywall, I'm not very impressed. So yeah, I mean, that's sad, because I really do like Kitty. I wish she was better, but not in this case. I guess she's one of the few mutants that's not really strong in the game right now. She'll do good in Shadowland if you do still want to use her. If you're one of those players kind of like me that just wants to be a completionist to unlock and get all of the characters to tier 2 or all of the characters to 6-star, whatever it is. And then of course she can still be useful in like Shadowland, that kind of thing, but she's not really going to do too well in any of the harder content just because of her survivability. So yeah, that's going to be a look at Kitty here in GBR. Again, nothing too crazy. Oh yeah, we should probably go over the numbers here for Master Mold. How did she do against Master Mold? Well, she has a maximum of like 15% damage that she can do here. 9 million damage, that's about 3 million damage per minute, so about 30 million damage she can do overall. So for Master Mold, she is a viable option. 30 million damage in the 10 minutes, that's going to be a third of his life, or at least a third of his life, so she can be used in Master Mold. I stand corrected, I forgot that she had just enough damage to do Master Mold. So Galactus is going to be a no for me on Kitty. Master Mold is a yes, that she can do that, but be prepared. She might die a lot, so you could get frustrated about that. So she's not going to be my first choice as a clear for Master Mold. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.